I'm back, ngwana ko gae. I'm back. Kapuska peinelwa, libitso ke itumeleng ngwana mokoena. Thank you so much for joining me. I am bringing you the latest updates and analysis from the SENZO MEYIWA case. Sit back, relax, grab a drink because you might need it, and let's get into it. Let's recap on last week's proceedings. If you remember last week, Wednesday, Mr. Baloyi, or Advocate Baloyi, made it very clear that he will be calling a tracker witness that will be testifying on the red Polo that was driven by Longwe on the night of the incident. Mr. Komezulu then jumped up and said, I will be opposing that evidence. That was on Wednesday. On Thursday, Advocate Baloyi came to court prepared to argue why his witness needs to present her evidence. Of course, Mr. Ngomezulu had not prepared any arguments to oppose the witness. The other representatives had not prepared anything. Judge Rata then gave them time to go home and prepare heads of arguments why this witness should not testify. That was on Thursday. On Friday, they came back and they indicated that they will all be withdrawing that objection of the witness testifying. So they are happy for the witness to go ahead and testify. Mr. Baloyi then proceeded to lead the witness evidence in chief. Right? As he was going with the evidence, the witness put the first strip of the card that Advocate Baloyi wanted to focus on. As she put the first strip on the record, Mr. Ngomezulu said, I'm so sorry. I'm not feeling well. Could you please give me 30 minutes to go handle myself? We shall be back. That was 11:30 on Thursday last week. They did not return. They came back on Friday morning and they indicated that Mr. Ngomezulu is still receiving medical attention and he has not made a recovery. Therefore, there will not be any proceedings on Friday. Right, so that was the recap on last week. So we discovered that there was actually evidence of the red Polo that was driven by Longwe Twala. This subpoena was sent to the car tracker in 2018. So the evidence has been available since 2018. A lot of us have been asking, where did Longwe go after pushing the intruders? Because most of us are on some, where did you get the strength to push two people with guns and run out? Why did they not follow you? So the car that was driven by Longwe Twala is registered to Sello Twala. We understand that Chico Twala, who is also named Sello Chico Twala, has another son named Sello Twala. And that is why social media and everything else has now been adding Sello Twala to the case. Welcome to the party, Sello. This witness says this car, the red Polo, was in fact traveling from Glen Vista to Vosloorus at Kelly Khumalo's home. And she can tell this based on the AVL evidence. We also understand based off the Section 205 that Longwe around 5 o'clock made movement from Glen Vista to Vosloorus. So those two things aligned. But what I love about what Advocate Baloyi did on Monday was that she asked the witness to go through the AVL evidence, go through the cell phone downloads from Stain. If you remember the cell phone downloads, Zandi Khumalo was actually going through her downloads and reading her SMSs between Longwe and herself. And at around 1850, Longwe Twala sent an SMS to Zandi saying, I am outside. And at that point, the witness is asked to refer to the Section 205 to check where outside was, and outside was at Kutlwanong Street, Kelly Khumalo's home. right? The witness is also asked to refer to the AVL. The AVL says the car switched off at this point. So we can confirm that the car was there, the phone was there, and the witnesses that were in the house can also confirm that Longwe was there. Tumelo has testified that Longwe arrived. Zandi has testified that Longwe arrived. Mthokozisi also testified that Longwe arrived. I do not know how Sello Twala is now involved in the arrival of Longwe at Kelukumalo's house, just because a red Polo that is registered to Sello Twala. Are you still with me? This red Polo, which was driven by Longwe Twala, it arrives at Kelukumalo's house at 1857. It switches off. From 1857 until 2046, right? This car is on and off. There's motion, but the car is off. But it's still in the same vicinity. It's not moving. It's switching on, it's switching off. There's motion, but there's no movement, right? And then at 2046, this car moves from the Kumalo's residence, very slowly moves. It goes towards Lesedi Street. It goes towards Muachi Street. Now, if you are from Spruit View and you're familiar Spruit View, you understand Muachi Road. Muachi Road is that long street in Spruit View, right? If you're exiting Kelukumalo's house, if you're going to hit the N3, you must go through the Muachi Road. So he gets onto Muachi Road. He is traveling at 20 kilometers per hour. This is around 2040, right? And if we understand the cell phone evidence, or when we understand the cell phone evidence, we learned that that's around the time 2040. If we look at the phone that was stolen from Kelukumalo's house, it left around 2050. 2050 is also the time that they started moving towards the hospital. 2046, Longwe is on Lesedi Street. He is on Muachi Road. He is moving very slowly. Then he turns back and goes back to Kelukumalo's house. 2055, Longwe is in Nombela Drive. 2055. 2057, Longwe is in Sam Sikwet Avenue. And at 2058, Longwe's car switches off at Sam Sikwete Avenue. And when the witness is asked to put the address on record and also compare the section 205s from Mapinki's, because remember Pinky's evidence, guys, she was asked to go and show us the maps of the towers, where these towers are, right? And when we look at the address where Longwe's car stopped, that is the address of the Clinique Tower. If you remember the Clinique Tower, we were told it is in Botshelong Hospital. So I believe at that time, 2058, that's when Longwe arrives at the hospital. I have to give it to Advocate Baloy because he did an exceptional job ensuring that this witness places relevant information on the record. Information that aligns with cell phone downloads, that aligns with section 205s, right? So Longwe stays at the hospital. His car is off until 2312. Longwe is at the hospital. The car starts moving from 2315. It's on Nombela Drive. So he is going back now to the scene. That is around 11. He arrives at the scene and switches off his car at 23:22. He's at Kelly Khumalo's house. He stays at Kelly Khumalo's house until 2:52 the next day. So he moves from Kelly Khumalo's home in Spruitview and goes to Kelly Khumalo's place in Grasville. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing this incorrectly. He gets there at 2:41 and he leaves at 3:49. So he's there for just over an hour. And then from Kelly Khumalo's house, he then goes home to Glen Vista, and the car is finally switched off at 4 in the morning. That's when he gets home. And home in Glen Vista, it's the same address as the address that his cell phone number is recorded to. At 7:20 in the morning now, he gets up and he goes to Kelly Khumalo's place. He doesn't stay for long at Kelly Khumalo's place. And then they go to Kelly Khumalo's home in Spruitview. They arrive at 9 and he parks there until 4 in the evening. If you followed the news during the time, you would have seen Longwe and Zandi in SENZO's car. So I believe that during those hours, that's when they were moving SENZO's stuff. Right? And it is also alleged that Longwe shot himself on the foot and he was able to do all this driving. And people are saying he was driving slow because he had shot himself. But as you could see, when he was coming back from the hospital, he was actually going at 70 kilometers per hour. So I don't know if he got assisted at the hospital for him to be driving at that speed when he returns from the hospital. I don't know. So we see Longwe, we see Zandi the next day, the 27th, during the day. It's early mornings. I can't really tell on the news, that clip, what time it is. But they are getting out of SENZO's car. Zandi's got a bit of a limp there. She's limping. Longwe seems very well. Doesn't seem like somebody who shot himself in an ankle. But those are the timelines. Right? And then after that, they all go to Kelly Khumalo's house. I've been wondering, why is Longwe going to Kelly Khumalo's house so much? After the incident, they went to Kelly Khumalo's home and then they went to Kelly Khumalo's house. But we must also understand that Longwe was dating Zandi. He could have probably been dropping Zandi off or just went to go see his girlfriend. We don't know. We don't know why they were spending so much time together. But I believe it's because he wanted to go see his girl. They've been through a very traumatic experience together and they wanted to comfort each other. So those are the points that I picked up when Baloyi was leading Maria Elizabeth Pretorius as evidence-in-chief. Then once that was done, it was Mr. Ngomezulu's turn to cross-examine the witness. If you understand Mr. Ngomezulu's client's version, Mr. Ngomezulu's client's version is the one that says Longwe is the one that shot SENZO and he also shot himself by mistake. So now when Mr. Ngomezulu stands up to cross-examine this witness, we're all expecting him to dispute all these facts that Longwe got there and Longwe said, I'm here, and it was Longwe who was there, and we are expecting him to dispute those things, right? But Mr. Ngomezulu stands up and he says to the witness, where do you work now? And the witness says, I work at SAPS Soweto at the K9 division. I started working there in 2021. This report, the subpoena, was received in 2018, and in 2018 I used to work for Car Connect and I compiled the report, and because I am the one who compiled the report, no one else can testify on my report. What you're going to have to do is request another report. Mr. Ngomezulu insisted that she is not the correct person to be testifying, right? We all know the witness was brought in to discuss the 2018 report that was requested in 2018. It's becoming difficult for Ngomezulu now to defend this because Gininda was not involved in this evidence. Gininda was not there, right? When Ngomezulu asked who requested this information, To his disappointment, he learns that it's Mkhize. I'm not sure if this information was not available to Mr. Ngomezulu ahead of him asking this question, but it felt like a fumble when he actually received the answer that it was Mkhize, because he went on to ask further, was there another request after this one? The witness said no. Mr. Ngomezulu was trying so hard to place Gininda there, but he just could not. He just could not. And that was pretty much it from Mr. Ngomezulu. He was questioning the witness on, are you the right person to be giving us this evidence? Because I want to see this, I want to see this, I want to see this. And the witness says, in 2018, when this request was made, what you're asking for was not requested for. But now that you want that information, you have every right to ask the police to subpoena this company, and somebody else will pull this report and come testify on the new report. But as long as we are referring to the 2018 report, I'm going to have to speak on it because I am the one who pulled the reports, and I agree with the witness. Mr. Ngomezulu had no further question, and to my surprise, Ramsey stands up and says, I have no questions for this witness. Manengenege gets up and says, I have no question for this witness. Numalo says, I have no questions for this witness. Mshova says, I have no questions for this witness. These are the same lawyers who wanted to argue why this witness cannot testify the day before. And in the morning, they withdrew their submissions because Mr. Ngomezulu now was saying, hey guys, it's fine. Let's leave it. Yeah? And Mr. Ngomezulu was blaming his client, saying, my client is the one who said I must withdraw that objection. Fine. They have no question. Mr. Baloyi had no re-examination, because as if there's no re-examination, that means the cross-examination did not land. That means there's nothing that needs to be condisat. There's nothing that needs to be fixed or corrected or added or clarified on. Right? Mr. Ngomezulu did nothing. Then we go back to the bigger issue. Gininda. Brigadier Gininda. I say. Brigadier Gininda is writing exams Tuesdays. I think he's writing on Wednesday because he's only available on Thursday. So obviously they would give him Tuesday off to go study, and then Wednesday he's writing. Judge Rata asked if Gininda has actually supplied his formal timetable, and Baloyi said no, he has not supplied a formal timetable, but he has given us the dates when he is writing. And Judge Rata was like, is he going to give us that timetable, or do I have to call his professor? Call his professor so he can give me the timetable. He's my friend. Hey, Judge Varuna will drop names there. But then again, Judge Rata is always willing to assist. So Baloyi was like, no, there's no need for that. We will get the timetable. So good luck to Brigadier Gininda on his exams. Hope he does very well and he comes back on Thursday and finishes this case for us. I'm sure he is going to need a Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday. I'm not sure what next week is looking like for Brigadier Gininda, but he is going to need more than one day, pretty sure, to lead his evidence in chief. So as we wait for Thursday for Brigadier Gininda, let us continue with our robust engagement and conversations and discussions on this case, guys. Let us continue discussing, let us continue engaging, because this is one of the most interesting cases that I have followed in South African law. It's so interesting. With that being said, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for staying until this point. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for hitting the notification button to ensure that you get a notification when I drop an episode. And if you have not done that, I encourage you to please do the same. Thank you so much. Bye.